Stop texting a woman who's ignoring you. Don't reach out. I get it. You want to know if she still cares or thinks about you.
Stop right there. Your finger is hovering over that send button, ready to fire off another message that you somehow already know will make you feel worse about yourself. But here's the question that should stop you cold. If you haven't even sent it yet, why does it already feel desperate? In the next 10 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly why that urge to text her is actually destroying your chances, reveal the psychological trap that's keeping you stuck, and give you a strategy so powerful it feels almost unfair. We're talking about the kind of silence that creates curiosity instead of indifference. Miss any part of this, and you'll keep cycling through the same pattern that's been killing your confidence. Stay until the end and discover how to flip the entire dynamic without saying a single word. That burning need in your chest to send just one more text isn't really about her at all. It's about the chaos happening inside your head right now. You're not texting to build connection. You're texting to silence that uncomfortable voice that keeps asking what went wrong. It's like reaching for a painkiller not to heal anything, but just to numb the sting for a few minutes. When someone starts pulling away, your brain goes into overdrive trying to solve the mystery. You replay conversations, analyze response times, and search for hidden meanings in simple words. Your mind craves answers because uncertainty feels unbearable. So you grab your phone thinking that if she just responds with something warm, that knot in your stomach will finally loosen. But here's what actually happens every time you send that checking-in message. She instantly senses the neediness behind it. Women have an almost supernatural ability to detect when a text is loaded with "please notice me" energy. And that energy doesn't draw people closer. It pushes them away because it signals that her attention has become your emotional crutch. You're essentially handing her a remote control to your feelings. When she responds quickly, you feel good.
I stopped texting first. I stopped asking if they were okay. And you know what? No one noticed.
When she takes hours to reply, you spiral. When she leaves you on red, you question everything about yourself. That's not strength. That's giving someone else the power to determine your emotional state throughout the day. The real tragedy is that you're not even giving yourself space to recover and grow stronger. You're staying trapped in this loop where your happiness depends on notification sounds and blue check marks. Every unnecessary text is like bleeding on someone's doorstep, hoping they'll feel sorry for you. It doesn't create attraction. It creates discomfort. Now let me break down what's really happening when she starts becoming distant. Your first instinct is probably to think you said something wrong or that she's testing your persistence. So you start treating her behavior like a code that needs cracking. You analyze the tone of her okay responses and count the hours between her replies like you're solving some complex equation. But here's the truth that most guys refuse to accept. She's not a puzzle. She's giving you a signal. When a woman pulls back, stops initiating conversations, gives shorter responses, or cancels plans, that's not her way of asking you to try harder. That's her way of communicating that something has shifted emotionally. Women are emotional creatures who naturally move toward what excites them and away from what doesn't. When she was genuinely interested, you could feel it. The conversations flowed naturally. She made time for you. She seemed curious about your life. You didn't have to decode her behavior because her interest was obvious. The problem is that when you feel someone slipping away, your instinct screams at you to chase harder, to find the magic words that will reignite her interest, to convince her that she should feel differently about you. But every time you treat her distance like a problem to solve, you're positioning yourself as someone who needs to earn her attention rather than someone who deserves it naturally.
You text me when you have time. I text you as soon as I see your message. That's the difference between us. For me, it's not just about replying. It's about showing that I care.
This is where most men destroy any remaining chance they might have had. Instead of reading the signal and responding with self-respect, they double down on pursuit. They send longer texts explaining themselves. They suggest more activities together. They become more available, more accommodating, more desperate to please. Here's what's actually happening during this process. Every text you send without a real purpose except hoping for a positive response slowly drains whatever attraction might be left. You think you're keeping the connection alive, but you're actually suffocating it. It's like leaving a flashlight on during bright daylight. Completely pointless. And when you actually need it, the battery is dead. She doesn't need to even open your messages to understand what's happening. The moment her phone lights up with your name for the third time this week, part of her brain automatically files it under "he's still there." And once you become predictable and always available, you stop being someone she wonders about. Think about it this way. If someone kept offering you free samples every time you walked past their store, you'd eventually stop thinking those samples were special. You'd just nod politely and keep walking. But the thing you had to wait for, the one you weren't sure you could get, that would stick in your mind. Women don't stay interested in men who are trying to keep them. They stay interested in men who seem like they could walk away at any moment. Your frequency of contact is communicating more than your actual words ever could. You think you're being consistent and caring. She reads it as needy and overly available. Now here's where the magic happens when you actually stop texting. Silence creates something your words never could. Uncertainty.
If no one sees you as an enemy, it means you're not important enough. If no one sees you as a threat, it means you're not strong enough.
And our brains are wired to obsess over uncertainty. When everything is predictable and explained, we relax and move on. But when there's a gap, when something is missing, that's when our minds start racing. Apply this principle to your situation. You suddenly go quiet. You don't explain why. You don't create drama or send a goodbye message. You simply disappear from her notifications. And in that silence, her brain starts creating stories. Is he upset about something? Did he lose interest? Is he talking to someone else? Why hasn't he said anything? This is where attention follows curiosity. And curiosity only exists when there's uncertainty about the outcome. When she knew you'd text her every morning, there was no reason to think about you because you were completely predictable. But the moment she can't predict your behavior, you start occupying mental space in her mind. You become louder in her thoughts by saying absolutely nothing. That's not manipulation. That's basic human psychology. We chase what we can't predict and obsess over what feels slightly out of reach. Your silence isn't empty space. It's loaded with possibility and question marks. But here's the deeper reason why stopping all contact is so powerful. It's not really about her at all. When you're constantly texting someone hoping for responses, checking if they've seen your messages, and analyzing their every word, you're not in control of your own life anymore. You're living in their orbit, and every second you spend there diminishes your value in both their eyes and your own. Texting someone constantly hoping for validation is like handing them the remote control to your emotions. Every delayed response makes you anxious. Every short reply makes you question yourself. Every time they ignore you completely, you shrink a little bit more. That's not the energy of someone who creates attraction. That's the energy of someone who desperately needs it. So when you stop texting, you're not playing a game or trying to manipulate an outcome. You're recalibrating yourself. You're taking back control of your emotional state and refusing to let someone else's response patterns determine how you feel throughout the day. You stop needing their validation to feel good about yourself. You stop chasing those little dopamine hits from seeing their name pop up on your screen. You remind yourself that your worth as a person isn't determined by how quickly someone responds to your messages or how enthusiastic their replies seem. When you unplug from their world, you plug back into your own. Suddenly you're thinking clearer, moving with more purpose, and seeing the situation from a completely different perspective. You realize how much mental energy you were wasting on someone who had become the center of your thoughts without earning that position. And here's the beautiful part. Once you're back in your own power, operating from a place of self-respect rather than need, that's when the entire dynamic shifts.
The best revenge you can do is disappear. Cool. No you in their life anymore. No you. No messages, no Instagram stories, nothing. You go and live your life without them.
Whether she comes back or not becomes secondary to the fact that you've remembered who you are when you're not begging for someone else's attention. Now I know what you're thinking. What if I stop texting and lose her forever? What if this backfires? What if she thinks I don't care anymore? Let me put your mind at ease with something that should make you breathe easier. You always win when you choose self-respect over desperation. There are only 3 possible outcomes when you truly stop texting, and every single one of them makes you stronger. First possibility, she comes back. She starts reaching out because your silence made her curious. She wonders what changed and tests the waters with a casual message. When this happens, you're immediately back in control because she's the one initiating contact. You can respond from a place of choice rather than neediness. Second possibility, she doesn't come back, but you stop caring. At first, the silence might feel uncomfortable. You'll want to check your phone and fill that empty space. But then something incredible happens. You forget to care.